as Justin said, the common structure is the lifeblood of any political organisation, and we only have to look at our enemies. And they don't do everything. They're very good at wrecking our country. They're very good for their own personal and benefit and the benefit of their corporate friends. But when it comes to political organisation, I think that I have to give them credit for enormous success, especially the two mainstream parties, Fine Gael and Fianna Fáil, that are now that have drifted so far to the radical left. But in relation to their common structure, their branch structure, that's what's enabled them to be as successful as they are, and to have a kind of a mesmerising hold on the Irish public. As cynical as the Irish public have become of the political classes, they still, when it comes to election time, and we'll have local and European elections a couple of months from now, a large body of the cynical Irish public will still go out and vote for the same parties. And that's because of what, as Justin said, the common structure. So without the you people on the ground prepared to give what you can in terms of your time and your effort in terms of political activism for the National Party, to build the National Party in Laois. Justin's role and my role and others at leadership level in the National Party is responsibility for the National Party's prosperity and the National Party's fortunes in the nation and the 32 counties in the whole country. But people here in Laois, their role, and you're very lucky in having a common organiser of the calibre of John Daly here to lead you in this. But your role is to generate activism on the ground in County Laois and try and build the organisation in Laois. And Laois is a very important county. It's a Midland county. It's you have a prison, you have a hospital, you have a number of centres of population in a number of towns even outside of Port Laois. So Laois is also a commuter belt county. Laois is a county that is suffering the effects of, as Justin has said, the neglect and caused by political corruption and betrayal at national level of ordinary people and people outside of the M50, and Laois is a county that has been affected economically as well by the downturn. Yes, exactly, and therefore the National Party is giving you a roadmap. I don't think we have to. We're preaching to the converted here, because people here. You wouldn't be here unless you support the National Party, unless you want to help get the message out there that we exist, and because that's the principle. Our principal challenge is not, oddly enough, we could say that it was because of the blanket censorship by the mass media, the mainstream media, that doesn't invite Justin to go on these talk shows or whatever, to give a nationalist perspective in relation to the current topics. But that's actually, censorship isn't actually our principal challenge. Even the huge moneyed resources of our opponents in the regime parties, for example, the most of the regime parties, Fine Gael, Fianna Fáil, Sinn Féin, Labour, they're in receipt of state funding, taxpayers' funding. There is state funding in political parties based on the results that they garner from the previous general election. So we are not in receipt of any of that funding at all. So we're totally at a disadvantage from that point of view. But our principal disadvantage is that most people, if you go out to the street here or go to travel to a couple of towns in County Laois and asked people what do they think of the National Party, the 9 points of the National Party. What do they what do they think of Justin Barrett or whatever, our leader? They haven't. Most people will not have heard of Justin, and therefore, that's we have to overcome. That is our principal challenge to overcome. We need to gain name recognition, and the only way to do that is activism on the ground. And I would suggest nominating, we'll say, weekends when people have time or evenings after work to hand out leaflets about the National Party, about National Party policies, about the 9 points, about a synopsis of what Justin has said in this speech. That's what we have to do to try and reach ordinary people that will be receptive to the National Party programme, but don't know of our existence, and that's our principal role. And again, getting back to the common structure, you can't build a house without a foundation. The building blocks, the foundation stones of the National Party, that is the vehicle of the national idea, is the common structure, and you're part of that. Each one of you is uniquely placed to advance the cause of the national idea. And it's Justin may be the leader of the National Party, but everybody possesses in their own right a leadership role at local level, and that leadership role is to lead people in your local communities to be aware of the National Party and to support the National Party. And I look forward to the day when we can contest elections in Laois. Not just for county council elections, but more importantly, perhaps a general election, and where we have a realistic prospect of electing a TD from Laois to represent the national idea, to represent the National Party, and to project that unique message. It's a message of national, at this stage, it's a message of national salvation, because as Justin said in his speech, if people only realised how bad things are, and the only way to turn around, we're headed very fast toward the cliff, and beyond that cliff, the obliteration from a point of view of the future of the national of us as a nation and as an ethnic group in this world, in this planet. We are facing obliteration if something isn't done to turn things around, and the National Party is the only way to do this, and to elect elected representatives from the National Party to the All-Ireland is the only way to turn this around. So maybe I've said enough, and I'll pass you on maybe to our common leader, John, and maybe.
Thanks, James. Justin. It's just that, just add a little bit to that. Like, it's just here is I personally very pro-life end of it, and I want to issue the issue of abortion, which everyone knows at this stage is widely available and the most extreme in the world at this stage. But it's linked into migration as well, as it's stated by Simon Coveney recently, and is on the record as 2040 the increase in the population will be 1 million. And he says that 500,000 extra migrants in Ireland will make up this, and the remainder, 500,000, will be their wives and children. And they'll be born here, and the Irish and Ireland's existing birth rate, which now at that stage, seeing that abortion is legalised, will go down considerably. And so we can see the government don't state which countries these people will be from, but many sources have said that it will be mainly from Africa. And so we can see the link between abortion and migration. On the one hand, they will be reducing the Irish people by exterminating them. But there's a big programme to flood again 2040. Ireland being a small country from Africa with these migrants. And it even goes further beyond that. Again, 2050 expects the population to be 10 million. So it's a serious situation we're facing, and it's the extermination of Irish men and women. That's what's happening, and it's a serious situation, as I say, and as well as that, maybe from a religious point of view, like we're a religious country, and going back to the penal times, our forefathers sacrificed a lot in this country. Our priests sacrificed a lot at the Mass Rocks and the Lens, sacrificed their lives to uphold the faith that kept this country together. And this faith is gone now, and we're being attacked by a worse scenario, which is created by the Irish themselves. We know what's in power now at the moment. And it also, Laois seems to be intent at not stopping at this, but removing religious icons from hospitals around the country, and religious names of hospitals. One being in Our Lady of Lourdes Hospital in Drogheda, Our Lady of Lourdes. And there's a campaign up there at the moment that's preventing, but it won't be prevented. So if we're gone to that stage now, that we'll sort of look over our shoulders, when I'm not for one, and I won't sacrifice my faith. I respect anyone to as a foreigner to practice their own faith, but why should we have to sacrifice our faith for this regime and the thinking behind all this is going on now? As I said, the abortion issue is very, very serious, and we don't have to go into that. And but getting back to the abortion issue, the Páirtí, now Páirtí's a decent fella, but he's facilitating a lot of pro-life people going to his party, and these are people, he's equating them with the percentage that voted yes, but not to the regime of abortion that was that we have now. And he wants to equate them with the no percentage, the people that voted no, and mix them in together. And although he says he's pro-life, now I can't see it understanding that. And to me, it's just like a coalition within a party. That's what that is, and I can't see it going anywhere. And pro-life people are being misled, and it's just a lot of them is just as a statement of intent. A lot of these people joined Páirtí as a statement of intent to Fianna Fáil and Fine Gael, just to give them the thumbs up or fingers up. And it's a sad situation, but it has happened. But at least with the National Party, we know where to stand on the issue. Abortion is murder, and if one life is lost, it's one life too many, regardless what condition that baby is in. And so we stand over that, and at least there's one thing what I like about the National Party, and it's not one for the top table of everything else, and not, I was sitting back at the back, didn't get involved in the politics end of it, but the people, the bigger parties, Fianna Fáil in particular, Fine Gael too, but them all, they've turned their back on the Irish people and the country. And like something like, I mean, we have to be rocked out of our comfort zone. We can't just go along and stay in the comfort zone. Sure, they'll do what they like. Sure, what can you do? And go out in the morning, vote for Fianna Fáil, vote for Fine Gael. And my father voted for, my mother voted for, and they're not too bad, and they kept the country. No one went a bit hungry. But it's a serious situation now, and people want to be rocked out of their comfort zones as to what's happening in this country. And it's the death of a nation. To think that you desecrate a little child in the womb, little baby in the womb, hack it to death. That's basically what they're doing. And I'll just go as far as saying as men and women has been murdered in this country. Even at this moment, now to think that's what happened, what a baby's suffering here. And I'm out of my comfort zone, but just think of that reality. But that's the situation we're in, and we cannot be hide behind. But that's my end of it, but that's really all I have to say. And I'd like to thank Justin and James and Ciarán as well, and everyone that came, and hopefully we'll keep a little bit of support going on the issue of the National Party. Has good ideals, I think, and very solid in the ways. There's no going back, and you're welcome, anyone's welcome after that to join the Cumann and hopefully be a success. So thank you.
Thanks very much. I'll invite Ciarán to address you now. Ciarán McCormac.
Yeah. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Ciarán McCormac from Ballymore, Ballymahan, Longford Westmeath border. But the last time I gave a speech or a talk for the National Party was the Longford Cumann, what, about 3 weeks ago, give or take? And I have been inundated online from people all over Ireland and all over the world with messages on YouTube and messages on Facebook, and people from me everywhere to ask me questions. What's going on? And can you elaborate on certain things? And I said, when I was invited back this time, I said, right, I'll go into a few different things and we'll see if we can cross some T's and dot some I's. Because I know Justin has a great grasp on the political side of what's going on in this country. And James as well, and some of the other common leaders have a great idea of what's going on. But I've travelled a good bit. I study politics. I study all this. It's like my drug, if you like. So I know pretty much all that's going on. Well, I've got a good bit of knowledge from the whole world, we'll say. But what I see when I see what's happening in Ireland today, and I look at the Irish people, now the actual Irish people, and I see a ship that has been beaten to within an inch of its life. We've been through wars, invasions after invasions, genocide, famine. We've just gone through so much as a people, and we're still floating. We're still floating along. Right now, the bridge is compromised yet again. We've got idiots on the bridge now that think they're steering the country whatever way they want, but we're flying straight into enemy territory, and we're being hammered from all angles. We're getting this from every single angle imaginable. The Irish people are being beaten again and again and again, and they're doing nothing to save themselves. We here in the National Party are basically those few outliers at the back of the boat saying, time to take this back. This can't happen. This can't go on anymore. Our replacement rates are at 1.8, so we can't even replace our population to begin with. And we're bringing in immigrants from all over the world, from minorities everywhere, different countries everywhere, that don't have the best interests of this country at heart, that don't care about its people, that don't care about the land. And we're supposed to just welcome these with open arms and just go, oh yeah, come on in, come on in, come on in. Grant, you can be civil to an individual. But when you see nations being crumbled and walked upon by other nations, that's an invasion and that needs to be stopped. Our political parties are doing nothing to stop it, and as John said earlier on, they're even pushing for this. We can't allow this to happen as a people. As a people, we're sitting back and watching our own people disappear. It's like a train crash in slow motion. Now, there's a few other parts, and I wanted to get to this the last day, about our monetary system. We're getting it from that angle as well. The whole of the Western world right now, if anybody looks into it, we're all operating on what's known as a fiat currency. It's a fiat currency. It's the government says it's a currency, but it has no intrinsic value whatsoever. No gold, no silver, no commodities back in it, no nothing. This is all well and good. You can run a fiat currency once it's commodity based, or whether it's run properly, but this isn't. And the Federal Reserve in the US are using quantitative easing over there, and they're injecting trillions of dollars into the economy, which is diluting the currency that's in your pocket already, stealing your wealth without you even knowing about it. The EU, the ECB, is doing the very same thing in Europe, printing money, creating it out of thin air, stealing wealth out of your wallet as well, without you even knowing it. It's inflation. That's how they tax you without you even knowing. And then they take that money that they've just freshly printed, spend it into the economy, spend it out to a different country, and what happens is they get the full purchasing power of that money, and when it trickles back down into your wallet, it's lost half its value, or the percentage of money that's been printed. So they're buying up stuff in all over Africa and third world, they're buying stuff here, they're buying up all the bad debts everywhere. We're going to hit hyperinflation in no time if we don't sort out our monetary system. The US dollar is the global reserve. It's already lost about 97% of its value. The euro only started 2 decades ago, and it's already heading the same direction. The pound sterling is probably the strongest currency in the world today because it's not hyperinflating. But they won't tell you that. If we kept our punt, we probably would have been the strongest currency in the world today. This country is taking hits everywhere. Our youth here are very, very hard working, and I can see that because I'm one of them. And I can see all of my mates, and they're all working, get up very early in the morning, straight to Dublin, they're plasters, skimmers, they're working on roads, they're doing everything. Very, very hard working people. Yet we're all poor. Why are we all so poor? Why can we not exchange our labour for the things in life that we need? It's because we're paid with this monopoly money that they're throwing at us. We think it's worth something. It really isn't. So when we see an entire generation of young people working really hard and not able to afford anything, it's you have to look deeper and see that there's something really, really wrong. And it is the monetary system. It is the European Union. It's all the taxes that we're paying, and we're getting nothing for it. We're the highest taxed country in Europe, probably the world, and we're getting no services to meet this. There's countries out there that are extremely poor and they can still provide adequate health services for their people. Our health system is an absolute sham. I don't like using that word sham, but it is a sham. It's a disgrace. It's up in Daly and laughing at us. And make no mistake, they are laughing at us. We're working really, really hard and we're paying our taxes. And they take them and they go, look what we got today. What can we spend it on? And they are throwing it away. They are literally throwing our money away. And it's our money. It's our wealth. It's the wealth that we created with our hard labour. And we're giving it to try and make our country better because we do love our country. Now, as I said earlier on, I've been contacted by people from all over Ireland and all over the world. And one thing I've noticed, and I'll tell you one thing, it humbled me. America. The amount of people who contacted me from the US telling me that they're Irish, they have Irish ancestry, and that they're not even allowed to come back here. They have no way of return to this country, and they want to come, and they love this country. They can speak Irish. They know all of the Irish folklore and all the Irish songs. They know all the Irish legends and giants. They know everything. They follow Irish politics more so than even Irish people. And they're not allowed back here. Yet we can open the floodgates and let as many Africans and Middle Easterns in as we want. Why? Ask yourselves that question. Why is that? I've been told stories during the week, the weeks leading up to today, that I didn't even know about Ireland. And when I looked into it, it is scary what's going on in this country. And it's funny because people outside the country looking in can see it clearer than we can. It's amazing. From Australia, from Canada, all over Europe, from America, even people down in South America and Peru. What I got from inside the country was a different story. The patriotism from outside was amazing. They all want to come home. We are a parent nation to one of the greatest diasporas on the planet. But what I got from inside the country was fear. Was staunch fear. Young people writing to me going, what are we going to do? How can we turn this back? They're being told in schools now that they can be whatever gender they feel like being. They can dress how they want and all this. Now, I have no problem with if somebody wants to do it. Let them do it. It's their business. What I have a problem with is I have a problem with the state getting involved and telling everybody that this is normal and you can all do it. Of course they can all do it if they want, but it's not the state's place to get involved and tell everybody. And tell everybody that you want to wear a dress today, lad, you can wear a dress today. You want to wear boys' clothes or be a boy, grand. These children are growing up, and this is documented so many times. This is documented that they're growing up into their teens and they don't know what they are, what they want. They get these sex changes, and then 2 years later they want to go back, and they can't. That's their lives ruined. They need to be educated. They need to be told the truth. Our ship is still floating. It's beaten, it's dented, there's holes in it, we've idiots on board, but it's still floating. We need to take over the bridge. We need to get people elected who have the best interests of the crew and the people on this ship at heart, the best interests. We need to take over the bridge, we need to reclaim the ship, and we need to turn it around. It's not too late. Get out of enemy territory, take back our own, get back into our own international waters if we like, when we get them back from the EU, and get back to safer waters. It's very, very simple. This is our little island. It's our little home. Nobody else is going to defend it. It's so beautiful and it's so rich and it's full of culture and heritage. It's one of the most beautiful places in the world I've ever been, and I'd never leave it. It's just so perfect. We need to reclaim this land because no one else is going to do it for us. They only want to invade and take and pillage and take what they can from us. This is our little island. We need to take it back once and for all. The National Party is the way to do that. Nobody else is going to do it. They're all selling us down the river. The National Party need to do it. You need to get behind the National Party for you. This is not for us. We don't want to be here. The National Party is the only way we're going to reclaim this land. Save it for us, for our children, our children's children, right down into the future. Because right now, our children are paying the price for our negligence and our ignorance. Our children and our unborn are paying the ultimate price for our negligence. We need to take back this little island for us. We can help everybody else out there in their own lands. We can do all that. But if we don't have a house to live in, how are we going to house everybody else? This is our little piece of land. Let's take it back.